Good evening, good evening, good evening, Facebook, and welcome to this week's Tot. Think on these things. It is I, your girl, your host, Marilyn Gregory, aka MG, aka Pearl. And I am with you on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, bringing you a word, something that I hope will lift you up, will encourage you, that will give you food for thought and make you think. Also, maybe even question some things that you thought were true, right? And I always say that I'm not going to hold you long. Tonight's not going to be any different. Go ahead and grab some people. Let them know that MG Tot is on. And I've got a powerful word for you tonight. So, we are 2 days away from Valentine's Day, whatever that is. Man-made holiday, right? But anyway, we embrace it. So we are 2 days away from Valentine's Day when people are going to be confessing their love. And I do the air quotes not to dismiss stuff because love is important, right? Our Father is love. He is the essence of love. I did that quote, the air quote, because I challenge us to understand what love is. Maybe it feels like love, but is it actually love? Right? So I'm going to give you a couple of definitions, right? Let's take lust, for instance. So lust, y'all, let me get my handy notes, right? Is to have a very strong sexual desire for someone or an intense longing for someone or something, right? You can lust after chocolate. You can lust after ice cream, right? You can lust after a car. And longing, but let's not confuse that with love. First of all, let me say that. Let's not confuse that with love. And then you have longing, because we said that lust was an intense longing, right? So then you have longing. Longing is a strong desire, especially for something that's unattainable, right? And then not to be confused with love, okay? And then we have obsession. Obsession is a persistent, disturbing preoccupation with an often unreasonable idea or feeling. Now, all of these words are feelings, right? Not to be confused with love. So I'm going to give you a couple of synonyms of love. So it's a strong affection. You can say, people say, use it and say it's a strong affection, right? Because we say, I love that car. Man, I love that movie, right? I love that dress. I love this. I love this. We have watered down the word so much to the point that it doesn't really mean what it means, right? Because we say we love everything, right? Or it can be a warm attachment to something. You might have warm attachment to your car, right? You might have a warm attachment to a certain dress or piece of jewelry or a warm attachment to something. Again, not to be confused with love, because love is kind of like faith, right? True love is kind of like faith. It's an action. Just like the Bible tells us that faith without works is dead. Well, I want to say love without actions is dead, right? And in John 3:16, God proves that to us, because John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave." He loved the world so much that he gave. He didn't owe us anything. Y'all know how y'all like to saying after you go on a vacation, and I said, like, South Africa don't owe me anything. Everything that I expected, I got there, right? God has already given us everything. He didn't owe us anything. what he had given us, we squandered. So he didn't owe us anything, but he loved us so much, as John 3:16 tells us, that he gave. He gave from the very depths of him, right? He gave his only begotten son. He didn't give something that he could buy from a store, or something that he could even make, or something that he could replace, or something a month from now, or a week from now, a day from now, he wasn't even going to think about it. He wasn't even going to remember what he had given you. He gave until it hurt. He gave a sacrificial gift, something that no one else could have given us. That's love. Love is about taking action. It's not about how I feel, because when God may not have felt like giving his only begotten son, and Jesus, and it tells us in the Garden of Gethsemane, he certainly didn't feel like being persecuted and hung up on the cross. But because of his love for the Father, and because of the Father's love for us, he gave till it hurt. He made a sacrificial gift. And the Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians 13:4-7 that love is patient. That's an action, right? Love is kind. Again, that's an action, right? And it is sacrificial. That's love. It's not a feeling that's fleeting, like lust or longing or obsession or desire or passion. Those are all fleeting. I could have those things for you one moment. You do something to make me mad, piss me off. That's it. I don't have those feelings anymore. But do I still love you? Am I still patient with you? Am I still kind? And am I still willing to sacrifice for you? Because that's what true love is. And you can't give that in the form of flowers. You can't give that in the form of candy. You can't give that in the form of jewelry. You can't give that in the form of dinner at the most expensive restaurant. And nothing wrong with those things if that's what you want to do to show your love to someone. I say don't do it this year, because we need a whole lot of dollars. Let them know our dollars are powerful, but that's just me. I digress. But I want you to read the book of Hosea, because that gives you the perfect example of what love truly is. So I'm not going to read that whole book to y'all, because y'all, our attention spans aren't that long. But I want you to take time out of your busy life, out of your busy day, and I want you to read the book of Hosea and Gomer, right? Gomer was a prostitute, an adulteress. Jesus instructed Hosea to love her. And every time she go off, he go get her. Every time she go, he go get her. Every time he go get her. Sacrificial. He sacrificed his pride, right? He sacrificed his needs, his wants, and put hers first. And that's what true love is. And when we say we're in love with someone, or we love someone and we want to be in a relationship with them, remember that. And remember what relationships are. Relationships is like relay, like carrying. I'm carrying you, you carry me. That means I'm carrying your hurts. I'm carrying your challenges. I'm carrying your finances sometimes. We're carrying one another. That's what a relationship is about. So think about what your definition of love is. When you say to someone, I love you, and that person says to you, what is your definition of love? What will you say? Oh, I really care about you. I really have strong feelings for you. But will that last a lifetime? Because again, feelings are fleeting. We have them 1 minute, the next they're gone. So, and remember, when you ask them that question, be prepared for them to ask you the same question and be prepared with your answer, right? So we got to really understand what love really is, because we are in need of it today like never before. Not just in relationships between men and women, but in relationships between our neighbors, our families, our spiritual families, as a country, as a world. We're in need of real love. We need to be patient with one another. We need to learn how to be kind to one another. And we need to learn how to sacrifice sometimes. We're in the situation we're in now because people didn't want to sacrifice. It was all about them. It wasn't about the brothers and sisters. And now we're seeing the results of that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So as you prepare to celebrate Valentine's Day, read the book of Hosea before you do that. And I challenge you to read it with your partner before you do that, before you celebrate Valentine's Day. Get the Bible, sit down with your partner, and read the book of Hosea. And then talk about what love is to you, what it means to you. Talk about what your expectations are from one another, what your needs are from one another. That's how it's going to last a lifetime. You got to have those conversations. As a friend of mine said, you have to have those conversations that you don't want to have, but that you need to have. So that's all I have for y'all tonight. Y'all know that I love you. I do. I love you. And there's not a thing in the world that you can do about that. So go out there and be that change that you want to see. And have a happy Valentine's Day. Stay dry. And I will see y'all next week. So peace out. Philippians 4:8 says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. Join me, Marilyn Gregory, aka Pearl, on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time as we explore these things and renew our minds.